Hi everyone, this is Mary Ellen. The two concepts from Module Two's readings I'm going to focus on as they apply to the student population of my case study are socialization in higher education and student development. My student population is single moms. So socialization in higher education, it affects single moms with networking efforts. Written and Reason stress the need to meet the varying needs of student populations. The first step in meeting those needs are identifying those populations of students that are at high risk of not succeeding. Single moms certainly fall into this category. One of the keys to socialization of diverse students is structuring networking opportunities and support structures to meet the needs of the students. The students are often leaving familiar networks, so this is really important. The students, single moms coming into higher education, are going to, compared to a traditional student, it's going to be a little bit different. Single moms are going to come into education with different life experiences and oftentimes different expectations. Typically, there's going to be less focus on social aspects of college and a stronger focus on coursework and time management. The first networking effort is advising, so identifying these students immediately upon application to the college and getting them tied in with an advisor that is in their program of study that they're interested in to help them start getting on a path for success. Whether it be identifying developmental courses that they need, help with scheduling. Once they're in the program, are there tutoring services that they needed, making sure that they know where the Learning Resource Center is, the library, and what resources are available to them. For example, for the student population that I'm working with is single moms in health science programs at Cape Fear Community College. One of the things that we do in our program is we partner up a first year student with a second year student with similar backgrounds or similar interests, just to kind of so that second year student can kind of mentor that first year student, give them advice, help them with different challenges that they may have. We do some team building, and I know that this happens across some of the other health science programs as well. The other networking effort is financial support. So making sure that that student is getting into the financial aid office, finding out what their financial aid options are, what assistance is available to them, what child care assistance is available through financial aid that they have access to, and make sure that they are maximizing that. But the real key is ongoing and continual communication. Making contact with that student early and keeping up with them as they progress through their education, keeping them encouraged, keeping them motivated, identifying things when they have challenges and helping them get the resources that they need to get past that challenge and continue on and not lose that student. One of the things I have a link here for that Cape Fear has is it's called Align Your Sales. You can look at that link if you'd like. It's basically a coaching program where faculty and staff are partnered up with students that have been identified as high risk, that basically just partners them up based on their common interest or career interest to improve academic success, increase attendance, increase retention of the college, and make the student a more productive student. With student development theory, Written and Reason talk about this as being a body of theories that guides higher education practice related to promoting student and growth. And within these bodies of theories, they talk about three common characteristics: evolving growth from less complex and more complex as a student progresses through their educational career. There's an emphasis on the idea that not every student experiences or reacts to the college environment in the same manner. So single moms are typically not going to experience a college environment the same as traditional students. The single moms may engage in fewer on-campus activities, recreational activities, and my students don't. The health science students at Cape Fear doesn't have residence halls, but for single moms in a university setting, they're typically not going to live in residence halls. There may be family residence halls that they could take advantage of, but most of them are going to live off campus because they have other obligations that they have. Um, but this will affect both their living and learning communities. Um, Also, these students uh, will tend to take more online courses, especially at the beginning of their education, versus face-to-face classes. So just so they can better prioritize their time, work around their schedules, their kids' activities, their kids' schedules, their jobs, um, and other responsibilities that they have. There was two key concepts that Ren and Reason also talked about: balancing challenge and support, and that students learn and develop according to their involvement in meaningful and educational activities. For my student population, typically these meaningful educational activities are going to come within their program of study, attending uh, professional conferences, networking with students from other programs across the state, attending local society meetings, professional society meetings, things that's going to make them and prepare them for success in the program and for reaching and passing licensure exams upon graduation. So the quote that kind of stood out to me this week, one of the was, for students to develop, they require an optimal balance of challenge, including novel situations, demands, apparent contradictions, and support in the form of intellectual, social, and emotional buffers. So there is, the single moms do come with challenges. How do they prioritize their time? How do they get in all their studying and the demands of the program that they're in, and balance that with taking care of their kids, working, paying their bills, but at the same time they're in these health science programs because they want to be. So how do they stay motivated? How do we keep them intellectually engaged? And how do we help them with those emotional aspects as they start to get overwhelmed and they have start feeling these challenges even more? So to me, that part of the reading really stood out to me. And how do we react to that as faculty and mentors to these students? So the last thing I did was I looked at Bronfenbrenner's ecology model. And developmental ecology focuses on how and where development occurs. So when I looked at Bronfenbrenner's ecology model, with that, the student or the single mom is the center. And the next ring is a mesosystem. The mesosystem is basically built up of different microsystems. And those microsystems that I've applied to the single moms is their job, their peers, the clinical activities they have to do, their children, the licensing exams that they're going to have to pass upon graduation in order to practice in their field of study. So what these microsystems are is these are direct interactions between the student and their environment. So these are things that they're going to have constant engagement in, face-to-face activities. These are things that really going to reinforce or amplify the values and expectations that they have in getting through their health science program. It's going to take these things are going to take a considerable amount of time, and they all connect together. They all interrelate to each other, and they all interact together. So the next ring is the exosystem. So these are the things that indirectly influence the student's life, but can definitely have an impact on their success. So childcare. What happens when the child's daycare center is closed? The workplace. What happens, if something happens with their job and the place that they're working closes or they have layoffs? How does the student react to that? How do they deal with that additional stress? Financial aid. Making sure there's no interruption in their financial aid. Child support. That could be a big focus that could definitely influence the success if the child support isn't coming in for the child. Also, the accreditation body. All the health science programs are accredited by additional accrediting bodies outside of the institution's accreditation. So they could have a impact on student success. And then the last ring, the outer ring, is the macro system. So this is those things that overall shape the group of students and their success. Things that they really don't have any control of, but historical trends of education, for example, what social forces, things that they don't. It's not really going to happen on a day-to-day basis, but as things change, could affect their education and their success. Um, so those were the two factors concepts I focused in on this week that to me really applied to my student population was a socialization and student development. So I look forward to the feedback that you have, and I look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday. Thank you. Okay, I hope that's here.